Hey y'all. Yesterday, I was trying to record a video. I ended up recording two and deleting both of them. And for whatever reason, neither of the messages that I felt like were worth sharing, or they felt too fuzzy. Like I wasn't quite clicked into what I wanted to say. And today, it's a very snowy day outside. I don't know if I can show it to you. Anyway, to give you kind of an idea. I went for a long walk in the snow and had that time for contemplation that I think I needed. Because yesterday I spent all day doing volunteer work and having a lot of fun. There's something really beautiful about... I was making sandwiches with people, and we made, I don't know how many sandwiches we made. It was a ridiculous amount. It was just like, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 sandwiches. And I was hanging out with a little group of like college students. And, for me, just hanging out with them and like helping them make sandwiches and stuff, it was just a very sweet moment of different generations coming together for a common cause, right? Which was something that was very, that was the whole day yesterday when I was doing volunteer work. Because it was, like I was saying, it's just like young people, old people, people like me who are just like somewhere in the middle. I don't feel old. I feel like I'm still 26. And in some sense, I am still 26. But I had this feeling yesterday of like, and I've had this more and more the last couple of years, of feeling like I belong somewhere and feeling like what I'm doing actually matters. Not that I haven't had that before in my life, but I'm really having this moment where I feel like I really click with the people around me. I've spent most of my life as kind of a weird outsider person. Not that I'm like, a loner. Far from it. Being an artist, being more of a spiritual, mystical type, never really got along with the churches that I belonged to. Or I would get along and feel very connected, and then, people would say stuff where it was like, oh, okay, like, if they knew what I thought and felt about these topics in regards to the true nature of Christ, perhaps, or in regards to, maybe the Bible isn't the word, like, the literal word of God. Like, maybe, maybe it's not a 100% historical document, or maybe it's not the thing that I need to be like going out on a ledge to defend. Not any more than any other document that I think is important to my own personal life. And so anyway, I never really fully clicked with the people around me. And then, this year, or last year in 2024, last September, I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were catching up because we hadn't seen each other in a year. And And in the middle of the conversation, I just started breaking down in tears because I felt happiness. Like, I felt happiness because, like, I just felt like I had met people with whom I knew I was going to be fully heard. And not just like heard, but like reciprocated in what I had to say. Because I have friends who do hear me, but I can tell like it's like, oh, okay, well that's interesting, but I don't really understand what's going on for you. You know, I've talked about this in the past, there's a certain sense of alienation. And so more and more the last couple of months, I've been having conversations with people where I'm suddenly like, it's almost impossible to properly convey the feeling of having a conversation with somebody where you suddenly realize like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Like, this person has felt these kinds of things, had the similar experiences. And it's like realizing like, oh, I'm not crazy. You know, like it's that confirmation of like, oh no, I'm not crazy at all. And when you have that confirmation, it's a little bit bewildering because I mean, for myself personally, like I want to give every possibility a fair shake. Like, yeah, maybe I'm wrong, right? But as reality, as your experience starts to reiterate over and over again, like, no, what you're experiencing is real. Whether or not it's an intuition you have about somebody, either you like really just feel deep down in your heart this person is important in my life, or you feel deep down in your heart like, oh, this person is an issue, I should be careful with how I involve myself. Whether it's an intuition about a job or about a path you need to take, whatever it is, I think my whole point for this little spiel, because this has turned into a spiel. We were supposed to do a tarot reading here, and I've kind of gone on a bit. But the point that I want to encourage you on is that whisper inside your heart that you hear is worth listening to. And it is, in my opinion, worth listening to more than what any expert out there has to say. It's worth listening to more than the whole body of knowledge of the world. Which is a bit of a big thing to say, right? But I don't think ChatGPT can figure out how you need to live your life. Now, ChatGPT can be a great, consultant, especially since you don't have to really pay a whole lot. You can certainly ask for advice, and then that's another part where you fill out, like, is this person's advice good or not? Is that person's advice good or not? Does it resonate with me? I think something that's kind of a startling reality is that reason can be fitted to whatever agenda or scenario you want to fit it to. You can persuade people to believe any kind of thing. And so you have to, for yourself, inoculate yourself against the BS that keeps you away from your true nature, your true will, what have you. That part of yourself that is seeking expression in the world and wanting to seek the fullness of its expression. And I don't know what that's going to look like for you. I don't even really know what that looks like for me. I'm still figuring that out. That's a step-by-step, day-by-day process. Oh, we're back to here, back to the Empress. This is a card of somebody fully expressing themselves, right? And I'm sorry the heater kicked on and it's cold and I'm not going to try and turn it off. You're just going to have to deal with that background noise. Nature fully expressing itself. It's cold. It's a snow day today. And that is part of that cycle of like growth and decay and going and stopping. And like in a lot of ways, the snow is, for me, I look at it as a signal from nature going like, all right, it's time to pause, time to slow down, time to take a break. Because coming up, you have a busy season ahead. When the spring comes, you're going to miss all this quietude. And this is getting ready for the spring, right? Sometimes chilling out is its own work, especially if you're somebody like me, a busybody type personality. I mean, this has been me for like the last 20 years. Just busily trying to get all this art made, trying to build a career. And what I didn't realize was that there was some aspect of me that was wanting to get something created. And I made it. I created it, and I felt like I needed to go beyond that. And then I realized, oh no, I don't. It's time to take a break because there's something else being offered. And you might be witnessing that in your life as well. You might be taking that pause because something else is being offered. There's some new seed that you're planting. This is Ace of Pentacles, right? I didn't say Eight of Pentacles. Yeah. I mean, this is right now, we got 3 cards here of just like very obstinate earth energy. Fun earth energy right here. And this is like this is more Capricornian. And this is more, we're going to find out what it is, right? Can we get I'd like to get an idea of what is this Ace of Pentacles? What is this new seed being planted? More Pentacles energy. 2 of Pentacles. What's being planted is bringing things into balance. Bringing into balance that work-play dynamic. This is, like I was saying, nature seeking out a moment of pause, some rest, to get ready for what's coming up. And it is a lot of work trying to find a proper routine for yourself. Dialing it in, right? Maybe you're somebody who, you're a very social person, but you have those moments where you go like, I gotta take a break. I gotta take a step back. Like that's, for me, like, yesterday was a very extroverted kind of day for myself. I was helping direct people and, trying to figure out what tables need to go where, building deeper connections with people who are important to me in my life. And after all that fun, I still have to take a step back, and I'm still learning and I'm still working on what that process looks like, because it's not obvious to me. I mean, when I meet people and I'm just like, oh, I'm your friend, I'm all in. Like, I'm all in. Like, if I love somebody, I'm all in. There's no questions about it. And so, like, for me, I've had to learn how to take that process of where I start going all in and being more, like, deliberate about it, and allowing the pauses to happen, to not be afraid of the pauses. Because I know when I was younger, I didn't think about it at all. It just happened, right? And I miss that because I miss the ease at which I was able to build connections. And as I've been more deliberate and conscious about it as I've gotten older, it's actually gotten harder because I have to like really assess, like, okay, does this person match with me value wise? Do I match with them value wise? And where do we link up, right? Where do we find our path of victory? The Six of Wands. This is a card of boldness, action. This is a card of celebration. This is certainly a feeling I'm having more and more in my life recently. And maybe you're seeing it happen for yourself too. Because we see this central figure right here, riding on a horse. They're in movement, right? But we also notice the people in the back. These are friends, allies, partners, family, just people who are along the ride with them. You're not alone, right? At times when you're like this, you might feel alone. You might feel like it's just me and trying to figure out how to like handle my money situations, how to handle like all my resources. In a lot of ways, Two of Pentacles is like, this is the karmic repercussion of abundance, right? We all want abundance and prosperity, but then, it comes in and then the reality hits us like, oh, I gotta like manage all this. It's actually a lot of work. But it's gonna work out. And it works out better the less you let yourself be, does that make sense? Yeah, the less you let yourself be alone and you allow in the people around you who want to be there and who want to see you succeed. Look, this reading, this is now the 5th pentacle on the table. Page of Pentacles. This is somebody who's still starting off. They're learning. This is the offer that you are making towards others and the offers that they're making towards you. And there's a reciprocity, right? There's a certain amount of give and take that has to be figured out. And sometimes it has to be communicated in some way. There's not a lot of swords. There's 0 swords in this reading. Sometimes we communicate through our give and receive, right? Sometimes we communicate through just giving a hug, a handshake, a little nod of the head, right? There's so much that can be communicated that we often take for granted that aren't words at all. And I think in our modern society, we put a really heavy emphasis on words. I know this is that part of the reading where I complain about modern society, and so you'll just have to bear with me here. We put a really heavy emphasis on words. And I think, a big part of it, I would say, is that because so much of our communication is dominated by texting, we live in these cycles of record keeping. In the past, so much communication was just, it was oral. You call somebody up on the phone, maybe you leave a voicemail, but you communicated what you needed to say, and then it was forgotten. It was just left to the ether. And nowadays, you can have all these conversations where there's just a book, right, detailing your interactions with each other. And there's a sweetness to that too, right? You can look at how your connections with people have developed over time. That's certainly beautiful. But also, there's a lot of beauty, I should say, to what develops and isn't kept track of. And then one day you just find yourself going, oh, I've known you like 20 years. I don't even remember how we met each other. One day we met each other, and then like we're still in each other's lives. And this is about that process of moving past, moving past the records, moving past the constant tally keeping, not just of relationships, but of resources in general. Six of Swords and Six of Wands. I'm trying to remember what, because it was like 6 and 6 is 12, and I think that's Hanged Man in the tarot. I can't remember. I'm not good at remembering the major arcana numbers. I'm trying to learn it, and I'm not quite there yet. But I think that's Hanged Man. If it is, bear with me here. If it is, I just pulled another card. I just totally changed everything. Six of Pentacles. Let's forget about the Hanged Man. This is a crazy reading. That's 18. Which I think is Star. I'm still learning. So bear with me. I'm still doing that hard work, right? Because at some point I'm supposed to like talk about this stuff publicly. We're all at some point in our development, right? So six being a number of movement, but it's often a stable sort of movement. So like for Pentacles, like Six of Pentacles is like a different version of Two of Pentacles. It's an evolution of it. And the evolution is about giving and receiving, not just with yourself, right? But with others. And I know like the picture in the Rider-Waite sort of suggests like you are giving, but we see the scales here, and that suggests there's a balance, right? Like you're giving to people who are in need, and they're giving to you in return. The gift of sharing your time and your effort and your resources is that you also do get some sort of karmic return. You may not see it in this lifetime, or you may, a lot of times, you may see it through the bonds that you create, the friendships that you create, the moments that you create. And going back to, where we started, Mother Nature. Mother Nature's all about this. Mother Nature's all about staying in balance, staying in accord. So you can't have, yes, you can have these huge moments of abundance, but you can't have them without also, some depletion. Like for me, that's my balance. Is I can't just like, I'm not somebody who can be an extreme extrovert every single day. If I go out and I have like a big, go to a party, go spend a huge amount of time with people, at some point there's going to come a cost where my nervous system says, okay, now it's time to shut down reset, and you can come back to it later. So yeah, I don't know if any of this was helpful. I find this to be one of the crazier readings I've had in a while. I just find this part particularly interesting. So to conclude, it's time to move on from old habits and how you maintain your resources and how you think about your resources. You're planning something new in your life. This is a new efforts, new possibilities, new careers even. And it has to do with a direction that involves not just yourself, but the people around you, how you connect with them, how they connect with you. But also, how do you inspire people in the world, right? I'm not going to go too deep into that because this is the only wands really on the deck, and otherwise, this is just this is earth. Like, this reading is all earthy pinnacles, and I think this is like the ultimate message here, which is about finding your natural balance, your natural harmony, so that you're in alignment with how your resources are being used on a day-to-day basis. And those resources aren't just like your material resources in regard to, your money, your time, your effort. It's also your resources in regards to your energy that you spend with people. It's okay sometimes to take a step back, rest, relax, enjoy something, have some fun, take a salt bath, go for a walk in the snow, have a hot cup of something, hot cocoa, hot toddy, hot tea, I don't know. Figure out what that is for you. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's the reading. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope it resonated with you. And I also hope you're staying warm out there. We'll talk again soon. Bye.